Hello everyone. In today's My Zoho Story episode, we have Chris Kiaddi here from Atlanta. How are you, Chris?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, how are things going in Atlanta?
Oh, everything's going quite well in Atlanta. Currently, I'm actually in Mississippi,
Wow,
visiting family. But things are going great in Atlanta. Thanks for asking.
that's great. So, can you tell us something about Atlanta Fresh Start and why Atlanta Fresh Start? Was there a business earlier, or can you tell us something about the history of that?
Sure. Atlanta Fresh Start started in 2004. Traditionally speaking, we're a carpet, rug, and upholstery cleaning company. Um, that services the metro Atlanta area. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we decided to pivot and work more with real estate and home staging professionals in the housing community because we created a name for ourselves being able to solve some cleaning related and restorative related issues that baffled other companies. So now about 80 to 90% of our new business comes from the real estate industry via our relationships and partnership with realtors and home stagers. And there's pretty much five main things that they call us for, or five problems that we solve that we pretty much created a good name for ourselves in. And currently, what we're actually doing is we're adding on just a few more services that they're having challenges finding reliable and dependable home contractors to work with. So we're in the home services sector.
That's amazing. So, since 2004, you've been in this business, and can you tell us when did you adapt to real estate? How long has it been?
The real estate, I mean, we always have realtors call on us, for at least about a decade. Um, but we actively pursued their business and their relationships about 4 or 5 years ago. That's when we started to create a business model. That's when we created a way to differentiate ourselves. That's when we created processes and systems to work with them. That's when we created a marketing message to say, why they should go with us versus other options in the industry. Because if you think about what we do, it's a highly commoditized industry. And there's a huge hurdle. Not only that was just one hurdle we had to get over. How do we differentiate ourselves from the other folks in the industry? The second hurdle we had to clear was that of trust, because a lot of realtors and home stagers they're rightfully little apprehensive to refer contractors because if you think about it, they spend thousands, some of them tens of thousands, some of them into the six figures on their brand. And the last thing they want to do is to put that brand at risk by recommending someone who won't show up, gives their clients a bad experience. So we understood that. So I actually did the work to see, okay, where are the other guys dropping the ball? And wherever they drop the ball, I'm going to reassure this marketplace we won't do that, and that we understand that that's a concern of theirs, and that as an organization, as a business, we implemented processes and a business model to where we make sure that they will never experience that doing business with us, and it's worked out great.
Well, that's amazing. So you pretty much did a complete research on the industry that you're working on to tap the market and make a name for Atlanta Fresh Start, right?
100%.
Wow, that's an amazing story, right there itself. So I assume 4 to 5 years back when you moved into real estate, reinventing your business, that's when Zoho came into the picture. I assume
Zoho
that's
came. Great question. Zoho came into the picture last year,
oh,
towards the end of last year, about November or December of last year. If I could rewind just a little bit, MarTech, marketing technology, came into the picture for me personally. I became a student of MarTech back in 2015. There was an article in the Atlanta Business Chronicle that talked about all the marketing automation companies. Like we had one here in Atlanta, Pardot, and I believe Pardot was purchased by Salesforce. Um, and of course, we have MailChimp here. I think SalesLoft this year too. So Atlanta was growing in the marketing automation field, and at that time, you know, my home services company, it was pretty much set. It was pretty much stable and predictable. And I wanted a new challenge, and I wanted to get into the technology field. And I liked the challenge of the fact that I didn't have any history in it. It's not where I came from. I didn't have a resume, but knowing what I know as far as, especially in this country, if you just have the will, you have the desire, you put in the work, you can pretty much adapt and pick up just about anything. So I said, you know what? This business is doing good. It's cool. Let me go ahead and try something in tech. So I began to study marketing automation. I was fascinated with it. And in 2016, what really began my immersion in MarTech was when I was introduced to not just multi-step follow-up, but multi-channel follow-up, and using technology to enable that. So it's one thing to pick up the phone back in the analog days and call someone to follow up or to send a one-off email. But the whole process of documenting and mapping out a full process, automating that process and putting it into a system that can automate some of that, and you put a human behind some of those steps in that process, that was a game changer for us. Well, for my company, it actually became a revenue center, because the costs were already in place to get the leads in, but the follow-up was not in place. And once we began to follow up, once I began to follow up on those leads, and I began to automate some of that process, a lot of those leads that normally would just go to the wayside. A lot of business owners, micro and small business owners, make this similar mistake. Was that what I found was that a lot of those leads began converting just by having a process in place to follow up with them. And so I onboarded a system that was heavy in marketing automation, and year over year we saw 38%, 44% increase in revenue just by following up on those leads. And then last year was when I got introduced to Zoho.
Wow.
And which showed me that I could have all these disparate systems and all these disparate processes on one platform, and have true insight into my business, into that business.
That's great, because home services on one end and technology is on the other end, and somehow you incorporated both and turned around your business, right? Implemented a process so that it enhanced your sales and the way that you approach the business and marketed more. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because at the end of the day, one thing that I learned from many years ago from a great teacher was that all businesses are the same. It's just a deliverable that's different. And if I look at it from a standpoint, so I'm not myopic in my view as far as what I can implement in my business to only look at other home services businesses. I look at all businesses, and I'm able to detach whatever their deliverable is, their product or service, and just inject mine into that. What I try to focus on are the process. What can I take from this industry that can benefit my business? So even though, as you said, home services is on one end of the spectrum, technology is on the other end of the spectrum, that's if I was to think in that, and not to say that you're thinking in that way, but if I was to adapt the traditional thinking, I would not have been able to take best practices from a multitude of businesses and put it, into mine, because I would have the thinking, well, my business is different. Technology doesn't work here, or the extent of my technology would be something on social media. It wouldn't be MarTech. It wouldn't be CRM. It wouldn't be AI. It wouldn't be BI. It wouldn't be workflows. So and I'm fascinated. I love all those aspects of MarTech and CRM, as you well know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Technology can be implemented in any kinds of businesses out there, and your business and Atlanta Freshstart is a great example for that itself. And it's also another interesting aspect is you told you got on board with Zoho about a year back or something, and pretty much the last 7-8 months we are stuck in a pandemic, and home service is also one of the industries that's taken a hit, I assume, right?
Well, home service has taken a home run hit.
Right.
Actually, it's really hit a home run. Because a couple things are going on, and especially here in the South. We have a lot of folks moving down here into the southern region of the United States. The Atlanta market is actually super hot, hot as it's ever been. Folks are buying homes unsold. They aren't even doing walkthroughs. They're just, the homes aren't really even staying on the market long. That's one. Two, with a lot of folks being in their home, they're looking around. They're seeing, oh, that paint is chipping over there. Oh, we need some new flooring. I'm tired of looking at these cabinets. The guys in the home services sector, they're they're working 7 days a week now. Because again, everybody's home. Folks are looking at all these projects they've been putting off because they've been running out the door at 6 a.m. to get to work, running back in, eating dinner, this, that, whatever. But now they're in a home all day, and so they're fixing things up. I'm even doing that. We're gardening, we're doing finding stuff in the yard, we're doing fences, we're fixing this, we're fixing that, we're in a garage, making more space. So the home services sector is doing extremely well. Right now in Atlanta. Yeah.
That's amazing to hear. And how are you able to manage it? And can you tell us something about how many employees do you have in Atlanta Freshstart? Do you have them as employees or contractors? And how do you manage them, given the remote scenario that's going
Okay. Yeah. We don't have employees. I have a business partner, and the world's greatest business partner for about 5 years now. And he bring when we joined forces, he actually brought with him a network of friends and family that were in the home services business. So these guys have about 15 years of experience of building homes from the ground up. So it's been a really benefit to partner with them. And as far as the remote work is concerned, back when the pandemic hit, I think it was like February, we were very proactive as far as reassuring our customers and our partners in the real estate community that we were taking the necessary precautions, with face masks or gloves, and PPEs. As a matter of fact, I began writing a blog in February of March of this year just to get the word out. And one of the blogs that I wrote on COVID actually ranked higher than was like one of the top blogs on CNN for a couple of weeks, and actually outranked CNN that had a similar article on COVID-19. I actually even created COVID-19 precautionary services, back in February of March, because again, I was part of an organization, a marketing organization, to where the mentality there was we never worked from our heels. We always leaned in. So when this pandemic hit, the mindset was already you run towards the gunfire. You don't hunker down. You kind of run towards the gunfire. You become part of the solution. And that's not to say you become opportunistic, but you become part of the solution, because folks were they didn't have any answers. They were unsure. There was a lot of uncertainty out there. And we wanted to be part of the solution to give people, certainty that, we're still out here. Fortunately, we were part of the essential workforce, and we were taking the necessary precautions to make sure that not only were we safe, but that our clients were safe as well. So like now, again, I'm in another state, but the business is still going. My partner's out there. I've sent off a bunch of payment links, thanks to Zoho. Anybody who's using Zoho Books, they created this brand new feature for payment links. I think about a month or two ago, and then that was on Android. So I've been utilizing that all this week, staying in contact with the crew back in Atlanta. So Zoho is very mobile friendly. We communicate using Zoho, but the one Zoho app that we probably use the most is Zoho Books. And I can get into that, our reason why, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, like, if you look at the customer journey, you have like the awareness, the consideration, the conversion, the loyalty, and the advocacy. So we pretty much had a lot of those things going well, okay. And the way that I like to look at technology is, in a way that I like to advise other micro and small business owners to look at technology is the first thing you want to deploy is you want to look at two things. Is it going to drive revenue or is it going to improve the customer experience? So for me, when I was bringing on onboarding Zoho or transitioning from my current tech stack onto Zoho, I said the first things that I'm going to go ahead and onboard or implement are the things that it's either going to drive revenue or improve the customer experience. So looking at the suite of features in Zoho, the very first one that was a no-brainer was the books feature, because there was a lot of lag in getting a proposal to a client or prospect of ours, because I had to go into one system, type it up, put it into another system, kind of reformat the emails and get it out there. But with Zoho Books, it was just boom, 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 boom. It's on. They could accept it. We could accept a deposit or down payment. So it cut that time from, again, if you look at the customer journey from consideration to conversion, it cut it down to pretty much zero. I could pull over in a parking lot, boom, 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 and send it off. The other system that I'm migrating from to Zoho, unfortunately, they don't have a mobile app. I have to actually physically be behind a desktop. So, and Zoho has allowed me to edit invoices, edit estimates, and to get those sales, get that revenue a lot faster than before. And also, from the standpoint of the customer experience, you don't want customers to wait, until you get back to your computer a couple hours or the next day to get an estimate. That also improved our customer experience to be able to get those service proposals in their hands so they can make a pretty fast decision whether or not they wanted to go forward, or if they had any questions, or if we needed to get them a discount or a deal, or whatever. It just it sped up that part of the process.
That's correct. Zoho Books is a powerful platform which has helped a lot of businesses out there just like yours. And thank you so much, Chris. It was a pleasure talking with you. I learned a lot on Atlanta Freshstart and how you adapted technology into your business and made it a successful venture. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope I'll see you down the road someday.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure speaking with you. It's a pleasure being a part of the Zoho family. The best thing about Zoho is not the technology. The best thing about Zoho is the people. And anybody listening to this, you'll hear time and time again, Zoho has changed the way that I do my business, the way that I see business. They've really had a very deep, profound impact on my business I'm going down on a spiritual level. I'll say that. I'm never leaving. So good luck trying to get rid of me, Zoho. But I really, really appreciate the culture. Shout out to Sridhar and the folks at the top, because that's where it comes down from. And I'm honored, I'm humble, I'm glad to be a customer, proud to be a customer and a client of Zoho. I love everything about it. I love the people, I love the technology, and just thank you for just being a wonderful company, a great company. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. That's making me happy to hear that. And I can tell you this, it's going to make a lot of people back home in Zoho happy as well to hear that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great day.
Likewise.